Hey guys, Jordan here from Tech Revolution, and today I'm going to be installing a Blaze Series rear bumper on a Ford Bronco. If you guys want to learn more about this bumper, you're going to go ahead and click the link below, and if you want to see this bumper installed, go ahead and click the other link below. Now, when disassembling our rear bumper, the first thing we need to do is take out the spare tire. It's just held in by 3 lug nuts. That's a 19mm socket to remove those lug nuts. Just be careful not to scratch your wheel. Look with your back as always. And removed. Now our next step is we're just going to remove this wire harness here. There's just a clip on the top, the inside. Just go ahead and push that in, pull that out. Now next step is we're going to remove this tow hook, which is sandwiched and kind of holds the bumper on. So there's this little clip here. Don't worry about that just yet. Just go ahead and remove these 2 bolts. 18mm socket. You kind of just use this tow hook to just pull that out. This side, same situation, but just no tow hook and no clip. Remove those bolts. You'll see the bumper drop a little bit, but there is some more hardware that is holding this on, so don't worry, it will not fall. What we're going to remove next is the 2 final bolts that hold the bumper on. So this bracket is integrated on the bumper, or on the frame here, but we're just going to remove this one that holds this all together. So this is just a 13mm socket to remove that. Be careful when you do loosen it, it'll start to shimmy a little bit more. Remove that bolt. This bumper is pretty light, but just be precautious when removing hardware. Kind of see it wants to just move on its own, and then go ahead and just kind of shake her off there and pull it off. Now our first step to assembling our new Tech bumper is we're just going to start putting all of our plates on. The first plate we have is just this center cutout here. This only goes on one way. Just make sure the Tech is going the right way. We provide you with these stainless button head bolts here. Just go ahead and line them all up and throw them all in. Now once you have that Tech center plate in, we're going to go ahead and install our outer top plates. Now these guys just look like this. They're not side specific, so you can use whatever one for whatever side. So you're just going to line up the holes with the holes on the plate. And it should look something like this. Just use the provided hardware. It's the 2 smaller bolts on the outsides and then the 2 larger bolts on the inside. And they just use the flange lock nuts as well. Our next step is we're going to install these outer vents here. Now these only go on one way. They kind of just follow the profile of the bumper. So you're just going to line it up with the holes. Use the provided button head hardware there. Looks something like that. And you come over to this side. This is what it's fully installed. And we're just going to go ahead and put our flange lock nuts on the back side just like the other ones. Now we're going to install our center vent here. Now just like these outer vents, we do offer multiple options with these. So just make you get the right one for your Bronco. But to hold these on, it's the same hardware as the last couple ones, just a smaller button head bolts. Go ahead and start putting those all in and put your flange nuts on the back side. Now once you have all your plates and your vents on, we can start tightening up these Allen bolts. All these smaller ones, we'll just use a 5/32 Allen bit. And since these are flange locks, you don't need to hold anything with the wrench. Just once it's against the metal, it'll just catch itself and tighten up. Just go ahead and tighten all those up. Now once you have all your vents and your plates on, we're going to go ahead and install these little sensor plugs here. So since our Bronco doesn't now have sensors, we have these little plugs. The bumper obviously has the holes for the sensors, but once again in our case we don't have the sensors. So we provide this little metal plug here, and then there's this aluminum clamp here, and that's just going to go just like that, and then we're just going to use the provided hardware to bolt that on. So now once you have those bolts started, these are just little Phillips stainless bolts. Just use a Phillips head screwdriver. Just start to tighten those down. And this is what the plugs look like once they're installed on the front side. Now we're going to install our bumper bracket. Now these brackets go, you see these 2 holes on the top of the bumper, and then the opening of the bracket follows the opening of the bumper here, just they're both facing the same way. Use the provided hardware there. Come over here and see it installed. And you can see this bolt here, these line up just to give you a good eye there, and then just use your provided hardware with the flange locks and just installer. Now, once you get your bumper put together, we're gonna go ahead and install it on the vehicle. Make sure you grab a buddy, and we're just gonna slide this over. Now we're just gonna install the factory bolts that are on the lower part here that hold the tow hook on this side. Just kind of secure that bumper a little bit more. Go ahead and do that on each side. Now we're just gonna install the 1/2-inch bolt through the bumper and through the frame here. I'm just gonna take the bolt, put it through the back side there, and then just take your flange lock nut and just snug that down. Do that on each side.
3, 2.
Now, there's technically 2 ways to install this bumper. The first way, the way that I did it, was putting those brackets onto the bumper. The other way is putting the brackets on the cross member first, that's right here, and then sliding the bumper up over that. And to do that is you have to mount the bolt that I'm about to mount, the bracket, to the cross member here. But since the way I did it, we kind of have to go a goofy way about doing this. So we provide this Allen bolt with this 1/2-inch nut here, and then you just get your Allen socket. So what I do is I put this through the frame here, take my extension and just line up the hole, and then reach your hand up here and you can kind of see the top of the bolt here. Grab the nut and just thread that on, and that's what's holding the bracket to the frame. And then just go ahead and tighten that up, and this is a 3/8 Allen. So now once you get that bolt installed, we're gonna go ahead and start tightening up all of our hardware on the bumper to hold it to the frame. Now, same thing, we're just gonna use that Allen bit here with our extension and a ratchet. If you wanna use an impact, you can. And then with this particular nut, this is a lock nut, so we will have to use a wrench to hold it. And it's a nylock, so it will be a little tight, but not as tight as it could be. And we're just gonna go ahead and just start tightening that up and just get that as snug as you can. Now we're gonna tighten up these lower factory bolts here. This is just an 18mm socket. Go ahead and tighten those up. Now we're going to tighten up the bolt that goes to the back side here. This is just a 1/2-inch bolt, so we're gonna use a 19mm ratcheting wrench. This is a flange lock, so it will just hold itself. You can kind of watch that just pull in. And get that snugged up. Now we're going to tighten these 4 bolts here that hold that bumper bracket to the bumper. This is a 5/16 Allen. Gonna go ahead, same thing, those are serrated flange, so you just kind of tighten those up. So the nuts will hold themselves. Make sure to remember to tighten your outside ones as well. And that's how you install our Blaze Series rear bumper on a Ford Bronco. Now, if you want to learn more about this bumper, go ahead and click the link below. And remember to always follow your paper instructions that come in the box when installing this bumper.